Welcome to Lecture 4 of Academic English. In this lecture, you will be introduced to formal or sometimes called business writing. In this lecture, you will learn how to write effective letters. We shall first start with the general structure of a letter, and then we shall go through the types of letters that are usually written when you apply for a job. These will be followed by networking and complaint letters. When you write a letter, you should write the sender, which is your address, and date, the date of writing the letter, at the very beginning, exactly at the upper right corner. Note that you should not include your name or phone number. The recipient address is also written at the beginning of the letter, but this should be slightly below the upper left corner, as you can see. Then follows salutation, which should usually address the recipient, for example, Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Professor, and so on. You should always try to avoid writing "to whom it may concern," "Dear Sir," or "Dear Madam," because this is an outdated, that means old, salutation, and would indicate that the sender, which is you, is a bit lazy, not trying to search for who might be the actual recipient of the letter. The other thing is that if you write "Dear Sir" or "Dear Madam," this might offend the recipient because this greeting may not be reflective of the recipient's gender. After the salutation comes the body of the letter. This should be between 3 and 5 paragraphs. The first paragraph would be an introduction to what this letter is about, while the last paragraph concludes the letter, for example, by reminding the recipient of something or thanking them for their time. Letters are usually closed with either 1 or 2 words, for example, "Sincerely yours, faithfully," or a combination of these, and should be followed by the name and signature of the sender. You should also note that if you are enclosing or attaching documents to your letter, you should write "enclosure" below your name and signature at the bottom of the letter. You must always clearly state the name or the names of the documents being enclosed or attached with the letter. These are few tips about the structure of effective letters. In this slide, we shall describe the tips to write high-impact letters. Basically, a high-impact letter should be well organized and should not exceed 1 page of A4 paper in length. The letter should be personalized, and you should not use a form or, let's say, template letters you download from the internet. Effective letters should be error-free, neat, clean, and tidy, using the same font style, font size, and font color, and should have the same line spacing and indentation from all sides. You may handwrite a letter, although this may not be acceptable or recommended. If you have to write your own letter by hand, you must use the same pen. You must also avoid scratching or using correction pen. Letters should be printed using laser printers, and inkjet printers must always be avoided. I will ask you for the reason, and you will have to answer this. Before sending letters, ensure that a letter, along with its accompanying documents, are placed into preferably full-size envelopes so that the former, the letter and the documents, will not be damaged while being handled or transferred through different stages of postal services. Always remember that you have to be formal and professional when you write or type in your letters. In case of writing an email, you should follow the same steps of writing up a letter. However, the only differences are: number one, you should not write the sender and recipient addresses, postal addresses Instead of writing enclosure, you should write attachments, and you must notify the recipient about the files attached to your email. Remember that in emails, you cannot sign with a pen. However, you may still be capable of inserting an image or a photo of your signature at the bottom of your email. The last thing is that emails are sent electronically over the internet, and therefore you will not need to print out your email on an A4 paper. We shall move on into different types of letters or emails. We shall start with inquiry letters or letters of inquiry. I'm using the expression letter, although this might also mean email. These letters, which I mean inquiry letters, are usually written to inquire about an organization and to seek further information about a job vacancy or a position being advertised. When you write these letters, you should ask for the information directly, and you should not submit a CV. The reason is that you are just collecting information about the organization or the job, and you have not decided to apply yet. You may share some details about your skills with the person you are sending the letter or the email to. This is just like giving them a hint that you feel you are a right person to apply and take that position. You have to state your preferred method to follow up this letter. This may be by phone, email, or writing. You should also notify the recipient about your timeline to follow up your inquiry, in a few weeks' time maybe. You must be realistic and accept the fact that someone may not respond to your letter. People are busy, and when a job is advertised, the recruiter may receive hundreds of inquiry emails or letters, so they may not have the time to respond to each letter or email individually. After you have sent a letter of inquiry and decided to apply for a job, the next step will be writing and sending an application letter, or sometimes called cover letter, that will accompany your application. An application letter is usually attached to your CV when you apply for a job. The purpose of writing this letter is to highlight your skills, professional experience, and academic background. Recruiters may not have enough time to go through CVs one by one, so they will find it easier and more efficient to skim cover letters. You have to state why you are interested in this job and how you can make the job and organization better based upon your qualifications and experience. When you write a cover letter, you start with introducing yourself, the position you are applying for, and how you knew that a job is being advertised in a specific organization. You may have heard about the job from a friend, read about it in a newspaper, or when you were browsing for job vacancies in your field of expertise. The recipient should be the person responsible for the screening process, which means conducting interviews. You should inform them about your skills, qualifications, and your readiness to discuss the position and attend an interview. After you have submitted a job application accompanied with your CV and application or cover letter, it's the time to write a pre-interview or sometimes called pre-screening letter. This type of letters is usually written before you are being interviewed by the recruiter. The main objective of writing this letter is to inform the recruiter that you are requesting an interview and you are seriously applying for that specific job or position they are offering. The other aim is to keep highlighting your skills, qualifications, and career interests. To do this, you may include a personal statement, which is a document similar to a CV, but it only differs in structure. As mentioned earlier, the CV has a clear outline of your personal details, employment history, skills and qualifications, and also academic background. These are usually organized in sections and bullet points. However, in personal statements, the arrangement is different. The personal statement arranges the details and organizes them in the form of short paragraphs, and no bullet points are used. You should describe the details of your most relevant skills and qualifications or even experience towards the start of the personal statement. After describing the skills, you may write a paragraph about your relevant academic or educational background. This can be accompanied with a statement about how your learnings from the academic background did support or will be supporting your professional career. The last thing you may wish to include in your personal statement is the position or the positions you may have held before and what relevant expertise or responsibilities you could get out of these. Once you are granted the opportunity of attending an interview, you should write an interview confirmation letter. Such a letter will show you are organized, responsible, and also very much concerned about the job interview. You need to review and confirm the arrangements made for the interview. These include the location, time and date of the interview, and also if you need to bring any important documents, for example, a passport or academic transcripts with you to the interview. You should thank the recruiter for considering your skills and qualifications, and also for granting you the opportunity to be interviewed. After being interviewed, you need to write a thank you letter to your potential recruiter to show them your appreciation for being interviewed. This needs to be written soon after the interview. Otherwise, its impact will not be as expected, or in other words, the impact will be less than expected. Such types of letters, which I mean the post-interview thank you letters, show you are polite, organized, professional, and the letter or the letters will leave a good impression that you know what you are doing. A post-interview letter is a good opportunity to remind the recruiter of your skills and qualifications, and it also demonstrates or shows your professionalism and courtesy. If you receive a job offer after being interviewed and you need further details about the job or the offer, or even if you have another job offer in hand, you should write a job offer clarification letter. These letters will show that you are professional and courteous. The letter will give you time to think which offer you should accept and will also help you request further details or information so that you can make a decision. If you decide to accept the job being offered, the first step will be confirming this with the recruiter verbally, either by phone or face-to-face. Then you should document the confirmation in writing using a job acceptance letter in this case. In such a letter, any details related to the job, including the job title, the starting date, the responsibilities, should be restated and confirmed. However, if you decide to decline the job offer, you should firstly confirm this by telephone and follow it with a letter. The job offer declination letter will show that you are professional and courteous and will leave the door open in case you decide to apply for a job advertised by this organization in the future. The other type of letters is networking or informational interview letters, which are written when you are requesting someone's help to provide you with information about an organization, job vacancy, or even professional advice. You have to inform the interviewee or the person you are sending the letter to what is required from them. In other words, you have to tell them what kind of help or what kind of details you need and why exactly you are contacting them. When you write a networking letter, start with introducing yourself and how you managed to get the recipient's contact details. Then, you must tell them exactly what your request is or what it is about. You also need to tell the interviewee your preferred way or preferable way of communication, whether this would be by telephone, face-to-face, email, or even postal correspondence. However, you must comply with the interviewee's preferences because they are doing you a favor, and also you are the one who is asking for their help and not the opposite. The last type of letters to conclude with in our lecture is complaint letters. Complaint letters are written when you need to formally complain about a faulty item you bought, about an unpleasant experience you had when you visited a specific retailer, or in such similar situations. The letter is usually issued to the customer services or customer care team also. When you write complaint letters, you have to be concise and direct to the point, but at the same time, you have to provide as many relevant details as possible. For this, you have to tell all the facts, for example, the time, the date, the venue of when you had the issue, and also the name of person on duty if you know that. You should never let your complaint letter become emotional. You must tell your recipient, in this case, about your preferable solution. This might be an item exchange, a full refund, or an apology. At the same time, you have to thank the recipient, which is the customer care or the customer services team. You must thank them for their time and efforts trying to solve your issue. As we reach a conclusion, I have attached few samples of different types of letters described in this lecture. These can also be found in Moodle. Should you have any questions or queries, do send me an email so I can help you with all the necessary explanations. Thank you.